Cryptocurrency has some secrets, and you need to know them. Let's do this. Hello everyone, cryptorenzi here, and today I want to talk to you about secrets of cryptocurrency that you need to know. Now I call it secrets because I want you to think about this in a different way. This is going to seem very plain, maybe even very generic, but you're going to have to look and dig deeper. Listen to the context, go deeper behind the meaning. Because trust me, what I'm going to say is going to sound pretty, it's going to sound super easy. It's probably one of the hardest things you ever would attempt in your entire life if you in the situation of the examples that I'm going to give. So first things first, you hear about diamond hands. What exactly are diamond hands? Why are they important? Diamond hands is a term of people who hold assets, mainly it's used for crypto and Bitcoin, and will not sell it, arguably under any circumstance. Now, to the average person, that probably sounds insane or even crazy. When you think about like owning a stock, what you're going to do is you do your research, you do your chart reading, figure out, okay, I'm going to enter here, I'm going to look to make X amount of profit. You never want to, what we say, quote unquote, marry a stock. You look at it as a tool, you get your profit, you get out, you go into the next one. But with Bitcoin's probably one of the closest commodities of anything out there that, in my humble opinion, in the technical sense, is worth considered marrying financially. Because let me give you an example. Bitcoin started in January of 2009. If you fast forward 1 year later to 2010, the price of Bitcoin was 9 cents. So let's just say you put $100 US in at 9 cents. That's $9, 9 US dollars. You own 100 Bitcoin. Now, if you would have held it just a touch over around 11 years later, December 2021, Bitcoin hit 68,944. So just a hair under 69,000. If you would have held that 100 Bitcoin for 11 years, again, diamond hands, easier said than done, that's a hair over $3 million. Not bad, right? When you think about the percentage of return, I mean, it's exponential. Now, again, I digress to the example of, trust me when I tell you, easier said than done. Let's go back to 2010. Let's say you would have bought Bitcoin for $9. A few years later, you're already beginning to 10x, 20x, 100x your money. Most people would already start selling, taking profit, doing like they do in stocks, maybe cutting it in half, letting the rest ride, all these different theories of what works for some people. But you never, ever would have got to the high of just a hair in the 69,000, even though it took a little over a decade. You have to remember, the secret here is the long-term plan. Bitcoin is not something, in my opinion, you want to trade. And yes, I used to trade Bitcoin. Yes, I've made money trading Bitcoin. But as I understood the power of Bitcoin, the technology, the blockchain technology behind it, you're, for lack of a better word, you're gambling with the wrong asset. You truly, truly are. And you want to be wiser. You want to think better. When the light bulb goes off for you, you're going to understand the power of Bitcoin and why you do want to have diamond hands. All the Bitcoin I own, it's never being touched under any circumstance. I have other safety levels in place, but the Bitcoin itself never being sold. And that's another thing I want to talk about. The Bitcoin, okay, however much you have, needs to go in a cold storage wallet. head over to my website. You'll be able to see, just click on the button on top. Freedom starts here, and it'll kind of walk you through the wallets I use, whatnot, and kind of explain to you how to set things up. But if you have, let's just say you have 100 Bitcoin still, but it's not protected properly, or someone can steal it, or God forbid you pass away and your spouse has no clue where it's at or how to get it. Again, what good is that? See, money in the stock market is easy. Most people understand it, right? You create a brokerage account, maybe at Fidelity, you put some money in, you pick some stocks, or maybe you pick an ETF, an exchange traded fund, make your life a little easier, or an index fund, which is basically just a basket of stocks that you can just kind of aggregate together, make your life a lot easier. ETF, sometimes you have to pay a fee on this. It's kind of like a managed fund. And then you do what you want. You either stay in it long term, or you play the stock picker, make profits, sell it, whatnot. But at the end of the day, you have that comfort. You know, for the most part, what you're doing. You know how to buy, sell, put your money in, take your money out. With Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, for some reason, there's this disconnect. People get confused. I hear this term going around, invisible wallet. You know, that's one way to think about it, but an invisible wallet's not a bad thing, because you don't want someone to be able to steal your Bitcoin. I love to personally think about it as it's invisible. I keep my stuff in cold storage wallets, air-gapped, meaning they're not connected to the internet. I'm going to do a video on this eventually so I can explain this stuff in greater detail to you, but you want to make sure it's open source. And I need to talk about that in that video, because one of the wallets I prefer, 𝗕𝗓𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘. That's my preferred wallet. Link in the description below for anyone who may be interested in that, as well as I have it on my website with a diagram and a breakdown comparison to other cold wallets. But I love what 𝗕𝗓𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘 does. And yeah, some people say it's not truly open source, but I contacted the company. I got a bunch of literature on why it's not open source, and it really makes sense. I feel nothing but the utmost protection and respect for this company. None of my assets are online. It's the safest thing that I personally found. So I just want to share that with you so you understand, okay, Renzi, even if for some reason I can do the amazing miracle and have diamond hands, I still don't know what to do with my money. And I'm going to do a video on later, when I said I'm never going to sell my Bitcoin. People may be like, well, what do you mean by that? Then what's the point of having it, right? Well, remember, I said it's like owning cyber Manhattan. Wealthy people accumulate wealth. They never sell, ever, pristine assets. Bitcoin is as pristine of an asset as one can get. Wow, Renzi, how do I get my money out? What if I want to buy something silly like a depreciating asset, like a car? Maybe I want a Lamborghini or something. Well, in time, very soon, I know Fidelity and other companies are working on this. You're going to put your Bitcoin and attach it from your cold storage wallet into, let's just use Fidelity for an example, and you're going to be able to take a loan against it. And when you factor in how Bitcoin has no inflation, is outpacing everything, it's going to be a joke to take a loan from this and easily be able to pay it back and live whatever life you want to live in the future. And like I said, I'll definitely make a video on this in greater detail. But it's important to remember, diamond hands. Super, super important. When I talk Bitcoin, I'm talking long term. Long term. So you want to remember this. It's a very, very, very important concept. Hey guys, I'd like to take a pause in the action and ask you a huge favor. If you're gaining value from this video, which is my #1 goal, then please be so kind as to hit that like button. That'll help the YouTube algorithm get this video out to people who really need to see it. And also, if you could subscribe to my channel, that would be amazing. And please don't forget to hit the bell icon. That way you'll be notified of my next and latest videos. Now, back to the action. And a second secret tip I want to share with you. Again, may seem basic, but it's not. You guys need to get your feet wet. You need to get some mud on your face. You need to enter and start playing around and moving money inside of the blockchain, because it's completely different than anything you're used to. It's nothing like the banking system. It's, in my opinion, 1,000 times better. You know, when you hear people say that criminals use Bitcoin, that is one of the most ignorant things I've ever heard in my life. Every transaction on the blockchain is traceable. Every single one. So again, you're being fed a bunch of nonsense and untruths about Bitcoin behind the scenes. The blockchain behind Bitcoin is phenomenal. The work the miners do, it's mind-boggling how amazing everything just works and flows together. But I challenge you, get a wallet. Just whatever, go to Coinbase. Create the bridge that I spoke of on my website. Put whatever, 20 bucks in, $100. Buy whatever you want. Buy Bitcoin or Solana or whatever it is, Ethereum, whatever it is that may float your boat. Just buy a little bit of it. See how it feels to purchase it. Then transfer it to your cold storage wallet. See how that is, because it's different. You're going to make a private key. You need to always remember your private key. You never need to tell anyone your private key, otherwise they have access to all your money. When you're transferring this money from Coinbase to your cold storage wallet, you're going to have to copy and paste this code that, depending on which coin you're transferring, is going to get a separate code. You want to start to practice this stuff. It's not difficult at all, but it's like anything else in life. The more you do it, the easier it gets. I'm here to look out for you. I told you from day one, I want to do this journey with you together. It is not hard to be able to create wealth now and change your future and heck, change your family tree. And I'm speaking to every single person out there. But I don't want to see you make mistakes along the way that can hinder you. I don't want to see you make just horrendous mistakes where you may fall for a silly scam. Like, hey, send me 1 Bitcoin, I'll send you 2 back. Please, unfortunately, do not fall for these things. There are a ton of scams. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. Please remember, buy what you can. I don't care how small it is. Like I said in my other video, DCA, dollar cost average in, buy a little bit more, every month, every week, every 2 months, whatever. Learn the practice of transferring it. You don't want to let it sit on Coinbase. You want to transfer it. Very important. Coinbase is, think of it like you're getting on the interstate. You merge on that ramp that you're merging on the interstate is called an acceleration lane. Think of Coinbase as your acceleration lane. Think of the interstate as your cold wallet. You have to get from point A to point B. But don't leave a bunch of money on Coinbase. Unless you're trading and you're a trader, then obviously you'd have to do that. But you want to be what we call a hodler, meaning you're going to hold it. You want to have diamond hands. The people who truly are listening to me, these are the ones who's going to have the greatest success, again, 10, 15 years from now. I don't want to do price predictions because people love to hold you to it. And I mean, imagine what kind of fool I'd be to think I know what exactly the future is going to be. But there's nothing better on this planet than Bitcoin. But there's things that can still hurt it. I can't control the world. I don't know if another war is going to break out or if COVID's going to come back or some silly virus or something that's going to scare everybody, all this silly nonsense. Again, We don't know what the future holds, but we do know that Bitcoin is perfect in the sense of money, a commodity, a global asset protection. No inflation. No inflation. One Bitcoin is always going to equal one Bitcoin. What more could you ask for? It's rewriting basically the history of money. You have to remember, all the fiat government-backed systems were all designed to fail. They were all designed with inflation in mind. Do you realize that? I think the longest financial system that stayed in place was, I think, 115 years. And unfortunately, our dollar is creeping up to that time level. Don't kid yourself. Some people look at Bitcoin as digital gold, whatever it is you want to look at it as. But Bitcoin has surpassed gold like it's not even funny. So remember what you have. Remember what you're buying. Remember how and that you need to protect it. And don't forget the secrets, as silly as it may seem. Again, recap, secret number 1, have diamond hands. Don't buy Bitcoin, get all excited because next year you doubled your money and sell it. Because you're going to come crying to me when you watch my channel 5 years from now. You're going to be crying. Remember, Bitcoin's different than any other asset. I know everyone has different situations. I know everyone's at different wealth levels. I know some people even live paycheck to paycheck, and I know some people don't even have money to live. I understand all of that. But if you watch in this channel, you are many steps ahead of most people. You are willing to at least listen and peer into the future of what's possible and what is coming. Well, the future is here, but it's still going to be a little complicated, and it's not going to be a smooth ride. Nothing ever is in life that's worth it. But it's my goal to make sure I do my best job to protect you. Don't fall for scams. Get your cold storage wallets. Start getting your feet wet. That's tip number 2, secret number 2. Get your feet wet. Get in the system. Move some money around. Play around. Feel how it feels to move it. Because after you realize you need Bitcoin, and when you start to buy it and hodl it, you want to make sure you don't make mistakes transferring your money. God forbid you put the wrong address in, your money's gone. I don't want to scare you. I just want to make you understand. But it's also as simple as copy and paste. Boom. My method, I've been fooling with crypto for almost 7 years now. Excuse me. I, luckily, as people say, what, knock on wood, I've never lost any crypto. Why? Here's my method. I always send a tiny amount first. I'm a stickler for double and triple checking numbers, but some of these digits are 36 digits long. Copy and paste. Memorize the first 3 letters or numbers and the last 3 letters or numbers. Make sure they always match. Always send a small amount first. Once it hits the wallet of your choosing, on your direction out, you send the rest. Don't be in a rush. Don't be greedy. You can make a mistake and pay the ultimate price for it. And I don't want that to happen to you. Well, if you guys have gained value and stay till the end, I'd greatly appreciate a subscribe, a like. Please share this video. Comment down below if there's anything you would love me to answer or potentially other video ideas you'd like me to do in the future. Again, a pleasure to have you here. And oh, don't forget, don't just make it through the day. Own the day. I'll see you next time.